Good afternoon. Proud of our guys for the effort they put in on Friday night. It was a good win. It was a real battle for us. The coach from Rice, Mike Bloomgren, just has done a great job, obviously, in changing that team around from a year ago till now. And maybe we're not very good, but boy, they sure played us tough. And they had a physical team. And he said, leading up to the game, that they were going to be a team that was willing to go toe to toe with us, and they sure did. And I'm glad our guys were willing to go toe to toe with them all the way through, because that's what it took. It took a 60-minute battle and a heck of a drive by our offense in the fourth quarter, and a stand by our defense to finish that game off. So really, really proud of our guys, and I thought it was a great victory. Good to start the season 1-0. Certainly a confidence booster, and hopefully that's going to help us as we continue through. We've got a huge test this week, obviously, to play the number 7 team in the country, the winningest team in college football history, all the tradition there, and our guys are just really excited to have the opportunity to play at this level. I think it's one of the reasons that so many of our guys choose to come to school here, is to play in games like this. And it's for guys that are really competitive and have dreamed of playing college football. I think to play in a venue like this and in games like this is what they've always wanted. So it's a great opportunity, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge. They got an incredible team, tremendously well-coached team.
Go ahead, Joe. Coach, thank you. Now that you've had a chance to look at the tape of the game, was there rust that had to be knocked off? I mean, it seemed like it got more functional as the game went on, especially as you said, that last quarter drive.
You're like a lot of people. You think we're something we're not. Well, of the 85 guys on scholarship at Rice, we probably offered 80 of them. And of the guys we got on our team, they offered none. So knocking rust off didn't have anything to do with it. Our guys were fighting their butts off, playing as hard as they could to try to win the game. That's what we've got to do to win here. I don't know where people got disillusioned about Army football. You know, we're just a bunch of tough kids, play hard, and we got a lot of guys nobody else wanted. And we got some talented players in here, and maybe people missed on them. I don't know, but it's not like we're busting at the seams with all Americans. And it takes everything we've got to win a game here. And that's a well-coached team. Coach Bloomberg came from Stanford. I mean, the model that they have at Stanford is as good as anybody in the country. I think if you look at David Shaw and what he's done in the time he's been there, I think they're the 4th winningest team in FBS football during the time that he's been there. So to take that blueprint from there to Rice, a very similar university, outstanding academics, I think he's going to build a really good football program there, and certainly they've improved. So, I'm thrilled with the win. There's a lot of things we could have done better, and some mistakes we made, certainly mental mistakes, fundamental things, but I'm sure he'd tell you the same thing. They probably made some mistakes too. It's hard to play perfect, but I thought our guys played their butts off, and to have 2 95-plus yard drives, I thought was a really great effort by our offense, and frankly, our defense gave up a couple of big plays. They gave up a 3rd down play and then a long run that we over pursued, and other than that, I thought our guys did a pretty good job defending them.
Very well. So now we go to the big house, 155,000 however many people in the stands, and the number 7 ranked team. What, based on your first game, what can you do against them?
I try to do what we do. I mean, I don't know what else you do. We don't have, we've got the guys we've got. I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, we're going to try to do the best we can and try to compete and play our game, and it's what we do week in and week out. And it's what I've tried to get our team to do since the day I arrived here. So hopefully we'll do the best we can. I know we're going to have to play the very best football we're capable of playing if we're going to stand a chance.
Do you think it's possible that a team like Michigan might overlook you?
No, I don't. They're too well coached, and their kids are too professional. They get 12 opportunities guaranteed to them, just like us. So I think they'll take the most of them. I think overlooking an opponent is probably something that doesn't happen very often. And I think kids like to play. They enjoy playing the game. And I'm sure they're going to be excited to play this one.
Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, Coach Rich DeMarco, Army Radio. You have great respect for Army football history. How important is it playing games against teams like Michigan, Oklahoma last year, the top programs in the history of college football like Army is? How important is that to steward along the reputation of this program?
I think it's important to play some games like that. I don't know that we need to play games like that every single week, but to play a game like that each year, I think is really important to this program. It certainly is to the guys that are on the team here, but also for the legacy that this team will leave, to play those kinds of games and challenge the very best teams in America. And we've played some outstanding opponents just in the 6 years I've been here: Oklahoma, Ohio State, Penn State, Stanford, Notre Dame. We've got a list of I think outstanding opponents that it won't matter the time or the era of college football. When people see those names on the list of opponents, there's going to be instant respect for these teams and challenging those top programs like that.
And Jeff, I know you mentioned it a little bit in your opening statement, but if you could speak to what kind of opportunity does a game like this present for your players and your team?
It's an opportunity to measure ourselves against the very best in college football, and it's a privilege to play teams like this, to have an opportunity. Not everybody does. Not everybody that plays college football gets to play in atmospheres like this and against teams as talented, as well coached, and as well respected as Michigan. So our guys are excited, and as I said in the opening statement, it's one of the things that I think attracts our players in coming to school here, because they see these games as their opportunity to play with the best. And as they look into our future schedules, there's more games like this, and I think that excites the guys that are part of this program and those that are making decisions about joining this program.
Thanks, Coach.
Justin.
Justin Fedich with the Times Herald Record. Just going off of that, have you allowed yourself to think about what a win against Michigan would mean for the future of your program?
Well, it'll be a great win, and it counts the same as last week's win. We're just trying to win a game. Tried to do our best to be 1-0 last week. We got that accomplished. We're going to try to do our best to be 1-0 this week, and hopefully we'll do what we need to make it happen. But it's a big game. It'd be a great win. But if we did that, it wouldn't buy us a victory the next week. We'd have to go play the next week either way. So, like I said, we're just going to try to do the best we can, play as well as we're capable of. It's going to take us playing our very best to even give them a good look. That's how talented they are.
And you talked about how they have a lot of guys that are probably going to be playing for the NFL one day. I know when you guys prepare for an opponent, you don't focus on their names, you just focus on their jersey numbers when you're looking at film. Can you just talk about how that approach helps you prepare for these teams?
I'm sure they're not trying to figure out which of our guys are going into infantry and which are going to be driving tanks and, whatever. We're just a bunch of names with jersey numbers, and they're going to try to do their best to align and execute their schemes against us, and we're the same. And I don't know that anybody approaches it any differently. Now, there are some very gifted players on their team, certainly, and in college football that I think teams have to prepare for those individual players. They are that good. They are that much better than the other guys around them or other guys on the field. And that happens in the NFL too. There are some guys that are just at an elite level, and Michigan's got they got plenty of those guys. But for us to concentrate on a guy that, hey, that guy's the best player on the field, and we've got to build a game plan around that guy. I mean, holy smokes, all 11 one-on-one matchups, we're outmanned. We're outmanned in every one-on-one matchup. So, like I said, we just try to prepare our schemes and do the best we can and hope it'll be good enough.
Matt McNamara, Spectrum News. Coach, obviously with the coach you're going up against, Jim Harbaugh, has been someone who's been around college football for a while and really found success. Is there anything about Coach Harbaugh that really stands out from you in terms of a coaching perspective?
He's won everywhere he's been. And he went to the University of San Diego. I believe that was his first head coaching job, and he won there. And I don't think they had scholarships at that time. They're playing in a FCS scholarship competition. He went to Stanford, and he won there. He went to the NFL, took his team to the Super Bowl. He went to Michigan, and now he's winning there. The guy wins. He was a winner as a player. Watch him as a player. He led his teams up and down the field and found a way to win. So great respect for Coach Harbaugh and the success that he's had on the football field as a player and as a coach. He's a coach's son. His dad's a longtime coach. He's obviously got brothers in the profession. It's really important to them. I really admire the career he's had. And I come from a similar family. My dad was my high school coach. My brother's a coach. I've got relatives in football, and he loves football. I'm sure that I don't know Jim, and I've not spent any time with him, but I'm sure he loves football, and it's really, really important to him. He's passionate about it. And he's had great success.
And Coach, for you guys, obviously you're always trying to prepare for whatever atmosphere you're playing in, some bigger than others, and you obviously played on a big stage, but there is something unique about the size of Michigan, the history. Is there anything specific you guys are doing in terms of preparing for that atmosphere, or is it just kind of going in as you normally would?
We can't make a big to-do about the size of the stadium and the crowd. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't control it. I'm sure it's going to be really, really loud. I saw it seats 107,000, and I was just admiring that they had 115,000 in there in 2013 for a game. I don't know where they're putting all those people, but that's a lot of people, and you can do all you want to try to replicate that with noise at practice and those kinds of things, and you can't. So I think their field is the same size as our field, and so we'll try to prepare our schemes and play the best we can and try to execute our game plan, execute the fundamentals to try to perform against what we know is going to be a great football team.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll open up to those joining us via teleconference. Please state your name and organization and ask your question.
Okay, this was Black.com. Good afternoon, Coach. Just to piggyback off of the last question and statement, you have several players on the roster that have played for crowds with over 100,000 attendance. 2 years ago, Ohio State, last year, Oklahoma. But for some of the younger guys on the roster, this may be quite an eye-opener as well. Is there anything specific that you have said or will say to prepare them for this type of football atmosphere setting?
I think I just want them to try to enjoy it, and it's one of the great experiences that they'll have as college football players, to be able to play at Michigan and forever be able to say I played in that stadium in front of 100,000 plus people, and so I hope they won't get all worked up over it. You know, there's a billion people in China could care less what this happens in this game on Saturday. So let's just have fun and play our very best and try to execute the schemes, the fundamentals that we teach, and go play. Try to measure yourself against the very best. And like I said, hopefully we'll play well enough, and it'll be good enough to be right there at the end of the game.
And my follow-up and final question is, as you mentioned execution, this is relative to the offense and more specifically the offensive line. Against the Rice, getting notable penetration throughout most of the game on Friday. Is this something that is concerning for you as you prepare for Michigan?
I noticed that same thing. That was a little concerning at the time. I was much more encouraged by our last drive. I thought we did a much better job of getting some movement for our runners, and I thought we improved as the game went along, and hopefully that trend will continue into this week. It's not easy. It's not easy to block guys who are big and talented and athletic, and so our guys are playing hard, and we try to play with great fundamentals because we think that's going to give us a chance to at least hold our own with a one-on-one battle. And we're very aware that at times we're going to have guys that are more talented than the ones we're playing with. And you know what? On occasion, we'll have a guy that might be more talented than the guy he's lining up across from. But as I said, I don't know if that's the case in any of our one-on-one matchups this coming week. So we're going to have to play great fundamentally. And we saw the same thing you did, and we're doing our very best to improve as a team and improve each one of those guys fundamentally, individually, so that they can perform at their highest level against what we know is going to be a very talented, very big, very athletic team.
Thank you very much.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Kreitzer with Sons of the American Legion Radio. Good afternoon. Hey, just want to ask about Michigan brought in a new offensive coordinator, Josh Gaddis, who had been at Alabama with, I think, 4 years experience at Penn State. They're talking about playing the game a little bit more up-tempo. What have you seen? Any changes in the Michigan offense this year?
Oh, there's some differences for sure. But I think that Coach Harbaugh, and he said, I saw his comments after the game, he's still very much involved in what's going on and very involved in the decision-making process and the game plan. So I know there'll be some elements of Coach Harbaugh's offense still present, and you can see that. You can see that in what they do. More so than the scheme, it's the personnel. And a team like them that literally, I mean, for those teams at the very top of college football, they pick. It's like draft picks. The very best players in the country. They have these lists of the top 100 players and the top 300 players, and they say we'll take you and we'll take you and we'll take you. If there's a guy in Michigan that's a top prospect in the country, everybody else in the country is going to recruit him, but Michigan's got a good chance to get him with anybody. It's the University of Michigan, and I'm sure that the kids in Michigan grow up dreaming of playing at that place. Why wouldn't you? They're the winningest team in college football history. They play in front of over 100,000 people every game. They win. They get Big Ten championships, national championships, All-Americans. I mean, it's a great place. And so what they do on offense is they can probably do whatever they want against us. They've got talented enough players that they can make it work. But really impressed with Coach Gaddis, and he's an outstanding coach. He's got a pedigree, and obviously is bringing some new elements to Michigan that hadn't been there in the past. So it'll be interesting to just get into the game and see how our guys fare.
And Coach, their quarterback, Shea Patterson, had a big year last year, and they're all talking about this freshman running back, Zach Charbonnet, with 99 yards last week. What have you seen in any specifics about the players there in the Michigan offense that stand out?
The Patterson kid is he's a quarterback much like his coach. He's very smart. Gets him in good plays. Understands the protections and puts himself in position to get the throws off. When you stand back there as a quarterback and you got guys in the Big Ten rushing you play after play, that isn't easy to do, and you can't just say, okay, we're going to pass protect now and I'm going to stand back here and throw it. There's a lot of things going on in front of him that he's directing and helping those guys pick up different looks from the defense, blitzes, side adjusting routes, things like that, and he does an amazing job with that. He's an outstanding player, very talented player, and Michigan, they just keep getting running backs. They keep getting guys that are good. That kid is really special. He had 99 yards on Saturday, and that it's not going to be too long. That guy's going to have 199 in the game. I hope it's not against us this Saturday, but he's a talented guy, and he's going to have a heck of a career, I'm sure.
And Coach, just last question about Army's rushing game. Santa McCoy had 70 yards, and how did you feel the running game went? And do you think we'll see Connor Slomka back this week?
I hope we'll see Connor. He's going to practice this afternoon, and unfortunately just had a pulled muscle, and sometimes those are a lot more debilitating than other times, and he's been working really hard to come back. So we'll see him today and the rest of the week, and hopefully he'll be ready. I hope we can run the ball more effectively than we did on Saturday. I thought at times we did a really good job, and the two long drives were mostly run plays. We hit a couple pass plays along the way, the one on the first drive to Christian and the touchdown to Kell, but for the most part we're running the football, and if we can do that consistently and control the clock and do those things that we're trying to accomplish with our offense, then we'll give ourselves a much better chance.
Thank you, Coach.
Any others joining us? Go ahead, Joe.
We, until 10 there, we're kind of skipping over the actual Michigan team that you actually play. So is there something you've been looking at that team? You stop the run first, you look to cover the pass plays. What are they going to do against us that you can work on?
What are they going to do against us?
Anything they want?
Yeah, I mean, probably. They can line up in whatever defense they want. They got good enough players that probably make it work. And as I said about the offense, they can line up and do whatever they want, and they can probably make it work. They're pretty good. What we've got to do is try to do what we do defensively and what we do offensively, and make it work against them, and master our assignments, play great fundamentally, and play really, really hard. And that's how we have to play every game. That's how we had to play Rice on Friday night, and how we'll have to play UTSA a week from now, and right on down through the entire schedule. Michigan's the same. It's not, I don't know if we can say, hey, we're just going to concentrate on this guy or this part of their game. Got to defend them, and they're going to have a lot that they do to try to defend us, and we'll have to have some answers for it. And they do a great job. Coach Brown, the defensive coordinator, is an outstanding coach. He's coached against us before in this offense, so he and I stood on opposite sidelines prior to this coming Saturday. Nate Woody, who's an analyst for them, was the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech a year ago and was in the Southern Conference and at Appalachian State. So he's faced the option. He knows it as well as anybody in the country. So they got plenty of guys to put together a plan against us in terms of their defense. That we'll have a real challenge on our hands.